Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jaco with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. We have Cathy O'Brien back. She's going to share some great insights she has coming from DC. Cathy, so great to have you back again. How have you been?
Oh, it's great to be here. It's always fun talking with you. Really super good. I'm excited at all the positive progress that the people are making. They're finally starting to take responsibility for their own lives and taking action themselves. It's very encouraging.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of that. We've been talking about it for the last 5 years that people really need to take more responsibility,
Yeah.
quit waiting for a savior. Uh, Now we have great leadership that's out there, but if we're not involved with that leadership, we don't see changes. Now, when you were just recently in DC, what were you seeing as far as like the leadership there?
Well, when I was in DC, it was for a medical group, actually, where I was speaking to neurologists and osteopaths about mind brain function that has been kept from the medical community. So much pertinent birthright information has been suppressed from education and mental health, medical health, and really all education and society as a whole, to keep us looking outside ourselves to big government, big pharma, big tech, big cult religion to tell us how to live our lives, make us dependent on pharmaceuticals instead of going with the amazing resiliency of body, mind, and spirit that we have within ourselves. So it was an excellent topic, very encouraging. This is like the third time I've spoken to various international groups of medical professionals who are really just fed up with having to follow big pharma and insurance companies telling them how to, care for patients when, care isn't in their equation, but it's in the doctor's equation. They want that back.
Wow, that's great. Now, in your own instance, you overcame some incredible, MK Ultra types about in the past. Now that opened your mind up to incredible potentials, and you've pushed your mind to incredible levels. Were you able to share some of that with the people that you were working with?
Absolutely. And in depth, because we have so much capacity with our brains. And I know, not only do we have the primitive abilities of telepathy, intuition, remote viewing, so much more capacities than people are aware of. But we've also got healing capacities. When you consider that special forces can be programmed with MK Ultra mind control programming to with that program No Time to Bleed, so they can take a bullet, keep on going, finish their mission, do whatever. Not only do they have the heightened endurance and the heightened strength, but they have that capacity for regulating blood flow. If that can be done from the outside, manipulating our amazing, brilliant brains, then imagine what we can do from within ourselves, using our strength of spirit, aligned with the divine within, and using those capabilities that they manipulated for our own good in our own positive ways. These are things we used to know as humanity. But, as you know, our humanity has been under attack for a long time, and we've lost a lot of our capabilities. Just a matter of remembering what we're able to do. And I'm excited to have voice on that these days.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because the mind can be altered through negative means or through positive means. You've been pushing the positive means for quite some time now. As a Navy SEAL and so forth, I saw the power of the mind. I had pretty much a catastrophic injury where my kneecap shattered. I basically overcame the pain within a matter of less than a minute. There was no more pain. There was no more discomfort. I was able to direct, and I got to carry it off. Went to have my kneecap rebuilt, and said, "You're never going to fall." And within 6 months, I was running and doing outstanding in the SEAL title, which I'd always done. So there is that possibility for the mind to overcome incredible things if we focus it. You mentioned some of the things basic, I think, and I think you agree, of telepathy, remote viewing, influencing, and so forth. I've come across these and have been able to do those. How can we teach other people to believe that they have that capability and then to actually tap that?
Well, for one, we've lived it, and
Hmm.
knowing how that works, like that pain is an alarm system that we can shut off. Since I was used in the military hands-on mind control demonstrations led by Lieutenant Colonel Michael Aquino, the founder of the Temple of Set and master of psych warfare in the military and on humanity. Um, in those hands-on mind control demonstrations, they were showing the regulation of blood flow. They were showing the different capabilities that we have with the power of the mind, one of which was to inflict severe pain and have me respond either with, in agony or respond with ecstasy, on the opposite end of things, that um, pain pleasure reversal. If they're capable of manipulating our brains to that degree, if we remember and understand that we can manipulate our own minds that same way, then we're able to shut off our pain like you just described doing. We learn those pathways in our brain, and learn how to control those for ourselves. And it's just a matter of people reattaching to their capabilities rather than being distracted outside themselves all the time, to be able to go within and start accessing these abilities. Knowing it's possible is step one.
Yeah, very good. So overcoming fear, pain, fear, kind of in the same vibratory frequency, and pushing to that love. You like I, as a former warrior, you as unbelievable mind control, overcoming that. And you were scheduled to be killed, and fortunately, you were rescued and overcame all that, and built an incredible. I mean, you have amazing books, you have videos, and all kind of. You've been on these talk shows for years now. It's really helping to awaken humanity. It's almost like God said, "I want this one to go forward and share." Did you feel that at some point?
I did. I feel so blessed to not only have survived, but to be in this position. What are the chances of all the MK Ultra mind control slaves out there that intelligence insider Mark Phillips would lift my daughter and me out of the Washington, D.C. human trafficking swamp all the way back in 1988? That's just divinely inspired. And it was something that Mark had felt was going to happen his whole life. He was looking forward to that. I remember as I was losing my last bit of free thought that I wish there was some place in the world where people didn't hurt each other, and that where people could live free and aligned with that divine. And because I was still aligned with the divine, I had deep insight and assurance on a spiritual level that not only would I survive, but that I would know love and the power of that love when I was on the other side of what my life's path was going to take me down. So that knowing that I had within, I consider to be a divine gift, an insight that ultimately carried me through, and haven't been aligned with it. I think when children are born, they still have their birth knowledge. They're still connected. They have so much, and then life structure starts getting in the way and kind of, leading them away from that a bit. And you take MK Ultra mind control programming, and it definitely gets in the way of that. But it only gets in the way of our ability to direct it and access it at will. Whereas no matter what happened to my body, no matter how I was tortured, no matter what I endured, my spirit was always in a safe, loving space. Knowing that safe, loving space is there, it's like going back to source. It's like keeping that like living in a constant state of prayer, you know, just having that ability to align. And so as I healed and was able to reclaim my free thought, my free will, soul expression, and I had access again to that infinite strength of the human spirit and infinite power of love at will. And this is I think the most important message that we can be bringing forward right now, how mind control disrupts our spiritual expression. And in that regard, this is a spiritual warfare, and one that is already won, because there's nothing more powerful than love. We already are, you know, have the victory. And so do the little children that have been trafficked. And if people would realize that for themselves, remember who they are and why they are here, they'll understand. Yes, not only will these children be able to heal, but they're going to come forward with an evolutionary spiritual testimony so much stronger than any religion and so much more applicably absolute to moving into the future. I'm so excited at what's to come, knowing what, you know, you and I have gained insight into from our life's experience.
Yeah, definitely. Now your trance mind control slavery, that the video you did, the Cathy O'Brien story, I put that in the chat, and we'll put it in the description box as well, along with your other work. You've transferred, or you've had transfer all of your books into Audible, so that's fantastic. Great work. Because it's, those of us don't have much time. The most we can do is the best we can do is listen to audiobooks these days. But you know, I think you're bringing forth a very good you know, point where anyone, even these people that are doing these horrific things, can come back to God and can come back to source and be in that love vibration. Of course, at some point, if they've done, you know, some horrific things, they'll stand, you know, justice will be done. But I would see, I'm seeing a lot of these people are basically, they want to bring justice, not only to themselves, but to the thing that caused all this. So we're seeing a shift that's happening, even that have done this. What are your thoughts on?
Well, yeah, when I was healing, and Mark had taught me how to heal without having to relive it, and yet photographically retrieve all the memory that's, you know, photographically recorded by writing out memory. The very act of moving a pen accesses the logic part of the brain, shifting emotionally incomprehensible over to logic, where it's written out on paper, consciously seen. And healing happens psychiatrically, psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, everything all at once. But is still in that process, as I remembered what happened to my own daughter, that I wasn't able to protect her any more than I could protect myself, in spite of, you know, thinking that it wasn't that I could think, it's just that I was manipulated to believe that if I took the abuse, she would be spared. She was told the same thing. And of course, neither one of us effectively spared the other from anything. We just, you know, thought that it would work that way. So it was just a massive control. What I experienced seeing what the plan was for humanity at Bohemian Grove, listening to George Bush saying how if they couldn't get mind control of the masses to the degree that they needed, that they would do a depopulation agenda and bring us down to more manageable size. And if that failed, that they would just destroy the planet, you know. And we're seeing so much of that attitude come into play from this dark side. And having been in those places, having been part of the drug and human trafficking across open borders, it was more than I could bear. It was more than I could deal with. And I told Mark, I can't live with myself after what I was forced to do under mind control. And he said, you're not responsible for what you're tortured to do under mind control. Your abusers are, and they need to be held accountable for their actions. But now that you're aware, you are responsible for all your actions going forward. And to me, that was that was the most amazing insight, freedom that anyone, I think, could ever experience. And it's something that we all need to understand, that once we know who we are and why we're here, once we're aligned with the divine, we are responsible for all our actions. We can take that responsibility and celebration, because it's the ability to respond with free thought, free choice, free will, and to do everything we do out of love for humanity, out of absolute pure truth. To be responsible for that going forward is such a celebration and a joy, to be free of that dark, negative drag. And, that's why I don't live in fear. It's why I'm not bitter and hateful, because that's their vibration. That's not mine. Mine is love, and I'm going to live the love I am completely in order to effectively help the children going forward.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And yeah, Mark was amazing for seeing the potential in you and your daughter, bringing you out of that system, working within the CIA, and then basically breaking you free from it. I was the same, seeing the same abuse in the CIA system when I worked within it, and then breaking free and sharing what I saw as well. So it is like I mentioned, there are those of us that have broken free from that system and are revealing in a way that really helps humanity. Now, what I saw that was incredible, you have these doctors that are trained within a certain system. It's kind of hard for them to break out of that. As you and I know, it's very, very frustrating, because we see an incredible vast potential in the human consciousness. And here are these doctors that are trained in brains and all, neurons and all the science behind that, but they get stuck there and they can't see this bigger picture. How were you able to expand their minds on this?
By giving them a depth of understanding through my inside insight. I didn't speak their medical lingo. I spoke from soul perspective. And one of the most basic things they didn't even know is that the subconscious mind never sleeps. So while they're performing surgery, if they say positive things about the healing of the person, rather than go, oh man, look at this mess, they can empower faster healing once the surgery is over. And they didn't even understand that most basic information, because that's some of the things that Mark Phillips found was buried under national security as our birthright information. That kind of knowledge, it was kept from the medical community and the mental health community. It was kept out of the education system. So to be able to bring that forward is very helpful, and they're so much more receptive to it, because they already see that what they were taught isn't working, that what they were taught is only benefiting big pharma, that they have to follow the confines of insurance companies and the pharmaceutical companies and whoever else was paying for the educational system, behind the scene, like big pharma does in the medical communities. So they were ready for the kind of knowledge that it resonates with their soul intent on why they became medical professionals to begin with. And that's to help people, not harm people. So that natural human desire, that recognition of truth on that level, is what allows for them to embrace that truth, to be able to accept the information. Same thing with teachers. When they found out that they were indoctrinated in their education to indoctrinate the children that they teach, then they have their own deprogramming to do in order to start teaching children how to think again instead of what to think. They have to learn how to think themselves first. So, we've got a huge process before us, and everybody on all levels is looking for that last bit of truth in order to be effective in their life's purpose and in what they're wanting to accomplish when they remember who they are and why they're here.
Yeah, there's so many aspects of society that have been, abuse or abusive. I think the educational system, as we're finding out, is definitely one of those. So we have to look and find the ones that are correct for our children's education. And some people are actually bringing their children home
Yes.
and teaching at home and then having those experiences. Wow, I wish I'd done that with my children. They probably would have turned out much better. They turned out well, but probably perhaps even better. So how do you think that goes forward? Do you think the educational system is on the verge of collapse, change, or a combination?
Well, there's no question is in for change, but collapse might not be bad. We need that in a whole lot of the systems that have been structured. They've been structured wrong, and we need to get back to things that matter. Like so much of homeschooling now is even focused on helping children learn how to renourish the soil in order to grow nutritious food to feed their brains, because components of MK Ultra mind control are sleep, food, and water deprivation. And people work 9 to 5, 5 to 9, trying to put food on the table. The food has no nutritional value because that's by design. This bioengineering and this genetic manipulation of our foods is to starve our brains and make us more compliant. So we've got a ways to go to restore nutrition to our food, to clean up our water, get the chemicals and the fluoride out of it, clean up our skies, stop this geoengineering, this manipulation that's going on in our skies. We've got a good ways to go. So the people that are being homeschooled right now are going back to some very, it's like we're evolving back to the future. We've got to go back to ancient ways to learn how to live in harmony with nature and reclaim those aspects that we need within us in order to keep our brains firing sharp. Mind control shuts down neuron pathways. We need them firing full on. And there's great ways to exercise the brain, getting out and getting our hands in the dirt, get our feet grounded into the earth, breathe in the air, feel the sunshine on our shoulders, and all this is so important. Some very simple basics. Maybe homeschooling will bring us back to that a lot faster than sitting in a building with the structured education system as it is.
Yeah, most definitely. And we're seeing this happening all over the world. Unfortunately, Europe seems to be collapsing. So we see systems that will probably collapse because they can't be fixed. It looks like Europe is one of those. I think the government of the Netherlands, I think it's the Wilders, or I think that was the guy that they put in. He was basically trying to push back on the immigration. We see France basically burning from the illegal immigrants and so forth right now. I think it's going to get out of control in Europe. I think it's a kind of a blueprint for what's coming for America. It's going to happen to Europe first. I don't think it's going to happen in America the way it's happening in Europe. What do you think's? What are your thoughts on Europe as far as collapsing? The whole system seems to be really out of control in Europe.
Well, mind control's been used for generations now for ushering in a globalist slave society agenda. So the whole world is affected, and the whole world needs to wake up. Mark and I would get into long discussions about what is it going to take to unravel this new world order. It's reached into so many aspects of society, and we realized that the systems that have been put in place need to be cleaned up, but it's going to take too long to do that. It's almost going to be a lot easier to restructure outside of the system, and that would be up to the people. So it's going to take a great awakening, which is happening big time on a global scale, of people taking responsibility for their own lives, remembering who they are, why they're here, and starting to live life the way that it's intended to be, talking with each other, eye to eye, heart to heart, soul to soul. So this will unite in purpose, in divine purpose, in love, and in harmony as is intended. But, while we are reclaiming that that freedom, that natural unity we have on a soul level, we've got a structured system that needs to come down. And there's a lot of people in positions of influence and power that don't want that to happen, especially these old bloodline families that have kept that generational aspect going. But it's not up to them anymore. It's up to all of us, and we're doing it.
Yeah. And even the reveals are coming pretty substantial. I think we've been, a lot of us were saying that that wasn't Joe Biden. There was somebody who placed him like Joe Biden had been. We were even saying it and executed. Even President Trump was saying Biden's shot. He doesn't even know he's alive. He's basically alluding to that. And just recently on his Truth Social media page, he basically put something on there where Biden he was never in office. It was a clone or robot clone. It said, I was like, wow, I never heard of a robot clone. That's a new one on me. But their reveals are coming, and he said Democrats don't even know that they've been taken advantage of, and they still don't get it. So what like you and Mark Phillips were talking about way back, before many of us were even waking up to all these problems, you guys were discussing the things that are, most prominent right now. The awakening. How do we awaken people? It's really getting to a critical position right now. And what we're doing right here is one of the best ways. Just continue to share your books, your videos, and so forth. What other avenues do you see as a potential for awakening people?
Well, it's exciting that Mark always made it so clear that wisdom outthinks a criminal mind every time. When we tap into our humanity, that's why our humanity is under attack, because it's our saving grace, it's our strength. When we tap into that wisdom thinks out that linear, flat thinking, criminal aspect. When we understand that we have the victory within us, when we understand that artificial intelligence is also that flat linear thinking, wisdom outthinks artificial intelligence every time. There's so much being pushed on people out of fear that artificial intelligence has taken over humanity and everything else. And it can't, when we align with the divine within, remember our purpose, and access our wisdom, because our wisdom will even outthink the most advanced artificial intelligence. So no matter where they've gone with the cloning now, I mean, Clintons were talking about that in the mid 80s, that was more important to be moving forward on, because I heard Bill Clinton and George Bush talking about it in length, and Bush was saying that we needed the mind control through the pedophile agenda, which is a mind control agenda, of course. And Bill Clinton would be talking about the cloning and the genetic manipulation and everything going forward. So I can only imagine how far that's advanced at this point. But no matter how advanced any of it is, we still have that saving grace within us, the ability to outthink it on every level. So that's the good news. Being able to get that out there isn't so easy. You're showing my my books there, and I'm so thrilled. I just got the signed books available on my website again, where people will be able to order direct through me, because they're wanting the integrity of information. The Audible books, I read them myself to preserve the integrity of information, because truth is not only censored, it's diluted. There's free ebooks posted everywhere of my stuff that that completely alters the information. People need truth. It's truth that makes us free. And I'm determined to especially preserve that in PTSD Time to Heal. The healing methods Mark found buried under national security, because they're available to everybody now right there on my website. They can have it. And I'm
And
excited
tell
at
us
that.
your website for everybody.
Trance-formation.com, TRANCE-formation.com. And that truth, the more we can get it out there, the more people will be able to reclaim and retain their free thought and be effective in helping others who have been abused, because there's so many safe houses opening up, and the best of intention without the information of knowing how. So I've been extremely busy sharing that truth so that people can be effective in helping survivors going forward. It's a time for the whole world to heal and reclaim and retain their free thought, so they have their free will, soul expression, strength of spirit, infinite power of love, and the unity that we all have when we come back with that.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey for a lot
Yeah.
of us. A lot of people, I hear from a lot of people now that they're exhausted. They're exhausted over the last 5 years. When Trump basically was cheated out of the election, and we had this usurper that came in
Yeah.
and did amazingly horrific things and tried to control and disintegrate America. And now we're coming back ever more stronger than ever. What do you say to those people that are just exhausted from all this? How do they carry forward and continue?
Oh, it's so exciting. We're on our victory path right now. So this is so energizing to me. I've waited my whole life for this. 2016, I was elated when Hillary was defeated, because she was supposed to be ushering in this globalist agenda then. And not only that, but we elected President Trump, and he showed us there's a swamp. He showed us their funding mechanism of drug and human trafficking across open borders. He showed us how mind manipulation works. MK Ultra is now a household word. People understand mind control, but it took a heck of a journey for them to get there. Because when President Trump went in 2016, I was jumping up and down telling everybody, come on, now's our chance. People were still waiting on big government to fix it all for them. Well, I think 2020, when mind control masked as a virus was unleashed on the global population, they got a taste of what mind control is. They got a view into it. And ultimately, all of humanity evolved. They overplayed their hand. They messed up like they always do. And people ended up evolving with knowledge that's our defense against mind control, and their eyes opened to their own responsibility. So that made a big difference. So by 2020, this is such an exciting time, because now we've got people who are aware that they need to be taking that responsibility, and they're making that difference in all walks of life. So that should be energizing in itself. It certainly is for me. We're on our victory path, and the children can't wait for the system to clean up. They need us to wake up, take responsibility now, unite, and share truth.
Oh, yeah, that's beautiful. So, what else do you see coming for America in the awakening process? President Trump has been doing a lot of good things. His team is doing a lot of good things. A lot of us see, myself included, that we're going to still go through a little bit of a painful process of awakening. What are your thoughts?
I think it's going to take a lot of time to clean this mess up. People expect to see arrests right now. And then I hear people saying too, well, we need the evidence to come forward and bring these people down. The evidence is there. It's been there a long time. We have no justice system to prosecute these criminals through. So we've got to clean that up and restore justice. And it's a long, difficult process. So the best thing that we can do is to allow that to happen over there, and realize that for we the people to start making a difference in our own communities and on state levels and, in our societies, that the obstacles that have been in our path are removed right now. We don't have the obstacles because that criminal system is so busy, fighting for their, trying to hang on to their power, that they don't even have time to stop us anymore. We're free to move forward. It's an opportunity right now that's up to the people. As far as when the system gets cleaned up, how delightful. This government's going to be incredibly downsized, just the way it needs to be, because we don't need big government. We just need, a much smaller government that ensures we, the people, have our power. Because we got to remember that we have all the power, and these perpetrators who steal elections and traffic children and all the other horrors they've imposed on humanity with mind control only have as much power as we give them or let them steal. So I see this great awakening accelerating just through more and more people waking up, doing their part. It's like that synchronistic flow, that one that we intuitively align with. When we're living our life's purpose and making that positive difference, it is so much easier when everyone else is doing their part too. Then it all really flows, and more people are waking up. And so that flow is accelerating. As that synchronistic flow, it accelerates, that divine flow moves forward. It continues to grow stronger and stronger. The vibrational frequency, I think, is raising on the whole planet with it. It's like our light is shining so bright now that it's exposing everything in the dark, to the point where that darkness is about to dissipate. So what I foresee happening is already in motion. It's a matter of other people opening their eyes to dare to believe in the beauty of what is unfolding right now. So many people are conditioned to, look over their shoulder. They're just waiting for the next trauma, when in fact we are already just skyrocketing forward. And when we open our eyes to that reality and start looking through eyes of love, we see the victory. We see that the light at the end of this tunnel is us, and we're already shining so bright.
Yeah, so you're talking about the control that Trump needs. The Supreme Court just basically gave Trump a huge victory. He has full control over all federal agencies. So the lawfare basically is over now. The people that were protected by that lawfare are going to be exposed. So a lot of people are saying, all of us have been saying for years that we're going to see these people, have justice. I think some of them have already had justice, but we're going to start to see it in the open going forward, because now that the Supreme Court has given Trump the full reign that he needed to basically take these systems down, they no longer have a shield, and now the sword can come and start to cut them out of there, like Archangel Michael. So I think they're definitely they're going to be running for their lives. Many of them have. A lot of people have left the United States. But I think there's a lot of really good special forces groups like I was involved with that are going to track these people down. But what do you see as far as when we start to see these trials? How is that going to affect consciousness? How is it going to affect Americans that have no idea about this? And then, of course, the people of the world. I think it would be positive for a lot of people, and they could get some insights and maybe some direction from it. What are your thoughts? It's going to be pretty amazing when it starts to happen.
Well, yeah, as that happens, people are going to start to remember that there are consequences for actions, because up to this point there hasn't been. And so people think they can do whatever with no consequence. That's not how it works. There's always consequence. We just need to see a little more of it right here, right now. And for me, after 35 years of national security invoked on my testimony for Congress, not seeing any justice, seeing so much injustice, I've just been waiting for the ultimate justice, a positive change through public awareness. That awareness has risen. Here we are, that justice is there to the point now where, as more and more people wake up, we'll realize that what President Trump has to do in cleaning up the system is akin to what I was mentioning on the synchronistic aspect, that these criminals, as they get out of the way, we're going to have more and more fast forward capability to, continue moving forward, cleaning it up. So it'll happen faster and faster. And as people see this happening and seeing the justice occurring, I think it's going to give them a lot of strength. There's so many people right now, like I'm sure you've seen it too, that are immobilized by the overwhelming guilt that they caved in to mind control masked as a virus and had their children injected, and they're losing their loved ones. The grief, the overwhelming traumatic grief that people are experiencing, the guilt that they should not be feeling when they understand how they were manipulated with the most basic form of mind control, repetitive media narrative, mask up, how many times, I mean, that programs the subconscious. So as they're seeing this justice, as they see these perpetrators brought to justice, it will free them from their immobilizing guilt. It will free them from their from this horrible weight that they've had to carry, and allow for them to be able to effectively move forward in light of love and peace, to be able to protect their children going forward. It's an evolutionary time that this justice, as we start seeing it, will bring forth.
Wow, incredible. Wow, you have such amazing insight. I know we've talked probably a dozen times now, but I still get incredible insights from it. It's kind of like the repetitive process of the good side. Start to break down the barriers that we all have within us, and that's what you do. I think it's fantastic. Now, there seems to be a lot of earth changes that are coming our way as well. Do you see anything as far as that? I see there's a possibility for them to get really out of control, but I think it's a consciousness thing too, because I've been able to influence some of these, storms and earthquakes and so forth through consciousness, through prayer and so forth. Do you see things maybe at some point getting out of control, maybe another 9/11 type event? Do you see anything like that coming?
I don't. And I see more and more of what you're talking about, of people realizing their own power and their consciousness vibrationally affecting this, because frequency is what has been used for so long. It's like way back when they were using just HAARP. HAARP had a strong effect on the weather, it had effect on our planet, effect on our minds, and everything else. That's something that Mark Phillips was always aware of. It's something that I was exposed to under mind control, the plans and the manipulation on that, the reality of it, so that as I healed, I was able to raise my vibrational frequency above it. If I knew it was being imposed, I wouldn't allow it to penetrate me. It's like when we understand we have the ultimate vibrational frequency with the infinite power of love within us, we can access that, raise our own frequency, and keep that penetration from coming in. And in other ways, I really think our planet, I think Mother Mother Nature has that same frequency that's so much more than what can be imposed on it. So the resiliency of nature is amazing. And I think that will also happen. So I see a lot of a positive coming forward as people realize and remember their own power, and to stop this bombardment of frequencies that's coming at us from so many directions these days.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I agree. I think the things are moving. The energies are coming in. The frequencies are coming in at such a level, and probably in the past, maybe Atlantean timeframes and so forth, the consciousness frequency wasn't high enough to sustain, a cataclysmic event. But I feel that even though I can see there's a possibility of these things, I don't think it's going to happen. I'm praying that it doesn't happen. I'm trying to put my thought energy into it and get as many people as possible involved in this, because I think if we see these things coming, we work together to create a different reality. We saw that in December 21st, 2012, where we decided, no, we're not going to have the end of the earth. We're going to have a different reality. And I think we really created that. I think we're seeing that again. I appreciate your comments on that. It's absolutely phenomenal. You're so to the point and so confident, but you've been here for decades, longer than most of us. And, I feel like I've been awakened for a couple of decades, but you have had even more. And you've had traumatized, and you've overcome that trauma. Now, not everybody has to go through pain and trauma. That's what we're trying to teach everybody as well. We've been through that. You don't need to do that. We're trying to help you so you don't go through that. What are your thoughts on that?
Exactly. I was speaking at a wonderful event in Loveland, Colorado, and this little boy, like 11 years old, said, "Well, you talk about telepathy and these abilities that you gained from your experience." He said, "How can we have that without going through the trauma?" And it was such a beautiful question. It was like, it's so exciting, because realizing we have that capability is step one. And then start acknowledging it, pay attention to it. Did that, you were just thinking of somebody and they called. Was that manifestation? Was it telepathy? Was it intuition? What was that? The fact is it happened. You can start exercising those kind of capabilities with animals, because they're already vibrationally there. They're so telepathic. Look at how dogs have this ability to know who's good, who's bad. They can, tap into those frequencies. Most of all, they're highly telepathic. So if we start exercising it with our pets, we see how happy they are that we're communicating with them. We can give them subtle commands or ideas like, we'll take a walk, let's take a walk, without saying the words, without anything. Just look at them and watch them run over to their leash, to go for that walk. These are just things that we can start recognizing, acknowledging, and then start exercising, because, if it works that way, maybe we can exercise it this way, and it becomes a lot of fun, because we're tapping into something we've been blessed with all along. We have these amazing capabilities in our brain, but we have been so distracted out here by trauma that we need to go back in and start, accessing and exercising those aspects of our brain, because they allow us to align with the divine in the most beautiful ways. And it makes life so much easier to live. It makes purpose easier to live. And it raises that collective conscious vibration that allows for us to start manifesting the life the way that it's intended to be lived, because it's already there for us. We just forgot. It's time to remember, and it's time to embrace it, exercise to get there. And I'm so excited about getting past the mind control so that everybody can move forward into these evolve back to more primitive ancient wisdom.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, and there's still some people that are caught in the mind trap of the media. It's easy, I think, for people to just let the media influence them. There's still like maybe about 30%, I feel, and they seem to be one political party that seems to be stuck there. What do you think is going to break them free, or do we even see that them breaking free? Maybe they just are stuck there for throughout all this awakening process. I don't know.
Maybe they're just real slow, you know. And
Sure.
it's like everybody's on their own learning path, and some of us
Yeah.
are way further down that path than others. And we can't wake other people up. It's up to each and every one of us to wake up from within. You know, it's an individual process. It's it's like spiritual awakening is its own individual process. We can't do it for other people. We can't even do it by pushing our beliefs on them. It's not going to take them to that space. It's a personal journey. So I feel like they're going to get there one of these days. The best thing that we can do is keep planting seeds of truth for them, and eventually they'll blossom. Truth never goes away. It's going to happen. They're going to see it, but it's not up to us to see it for them. It's not up to us to, you know, shout them down and make them wake up, wake up. It's not going to work that way. It's their own individual process, and in that, while they're going through it, and we look at them instead of judging them negatively, like depersonalization goes so deep into not recognizing self, into not feeling anything, good, bad, or otherwise, that these people are, they look like clowns because they can't see themselves and they're going to extremes. They do all the piercings, and you know, because they can't feel, and it's like a huge plea saying, I don't know who I am, I can't feel, I can't see. You know, and instead of looking at him going, oh, you're a freak, you know, and adding to a negative vibration, instead we can look at them with compassion and understanding, but at the same time not stoop to their vibrational level to try to be compassionate at them, because they're also one trigger away from becoming the next school shooter. You know, these people are still in that mind control mindset. So we've got to be just aware of that, mindful of that, and make sure they're the ones that are not teaching our children in schools. They're the ones that are working in hospitals, you know, that we don't want them around our children, around our lives in any capacity, asserting their negativity either. You know, we'll just keep living the love we are, shining our light, moving forward, and trust that eventually that light will be so bright it'll actually wake them up from their dark slumber.
Wow, you speak such beautiful truth. I just love to hear you talk about all these things that all of us are, you know, have for years now have been fretting over. It's like how, you know, how do we get past this? But you're just like comical. Oh, you do it like this. It's like, and it's such perfect truth. It's indisputable. It's beautiful. So thank you so much for all you share. Is there any further thoughts you'd like to share with everybody?
Well, I'd like to encourage people to, you know, keep researching, thinking further, looking into truth, apply the simple, easy to self-apply methods and PTSD Time to Heal. It's right there on my website for everybody at trance-formation.com. Keep arming yourselves with truth, align with that divine within, start living the love you are, and realize we've already got the victory, and it's about time we claim it.
Yeah, very good. And one more time for how people can reach you.
Through my website at
Mhm.
trance-formation.com, TRANCE-formation.com.
Perfect. because I'm going to turn this into an Audible too, so that people can listen to it. So it does really well. So thanks, Cathy, for sharing with us again. Absolutely phenomenal. The chat was loving you quite a bit. You do bring some amazing truth. So we all thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you.